Hi friends, how will you know whether you're going to get married to an abusive spouse, or for that matter, even how will you know whether you have such combinations in your birth chart which can make you someone aggressive and someone who can turn abusive. So what combinations in a birth chart make a person physically violent? I mean, somebody who gets violent, somebody who indulges in physical abuse. So how will you know? What are those combinations? For that, I would say you should always look at the planet Mars. Mars is the planet of aggression, anger, okay? And if Mars is under malefic influence, it can show violence, it can show physical abuse, all right? Now friends, Mars, this planet, it can turn malefic if it is being aspected by even a malefic Saturn, or if it is being aspected mainly by Rahu and Ketu, especially when they are casting malefic influence and they are afflicting Mars, and Mars is also not in good dignity. Mars is dispositor, that is the sign in which Mars is placed. The lord of that sign is also afflicted in the chart. Then definitely we can say that the native, whoever that chart belongs to, that particular native may be someone who actually has that propensity or tendency to get or turn aggressive, even violent, and can physically abuse others. Look at all these combinations. I will discuss the combinations. Look at them in your own birth chart. Do you have any of these combinations? But if you are not aggressive, if you are not violent in nature, that means you are using the energy of Mars and Rahu. If Mars is conjunct with Rahu, then Mars-Rahu energy is being used in a positive way. Friends, energy can only be transformed, okay? Energy will exhibit itself. We have to know how to transform it along a positive direction. Mars is competitive spirit. Mars is that planet which gives you courage to make efforts in life, to rise in life, your enthusiasm, your desire, your willpower. Mars is a strong Mars in a chart is very important to become successful in life. But again, when that Mars is under malefic influence, it can make you angry, irritable, aggressive, even violent. So Mars is connected, we know, it is the significator of the 8th house in the natural zodiac, okay, also the 6th house. So Mars rules, Mars actually is the ruler of the 8th house, because in the 8th house we have the sign of Scorpio, and it is the significator of the 6th house. It gets exalted in the 10th house. 10th house, it is connected to 10th house where it gets exalted in Capricorn, and 6th house, it is the significator. So Mars is connected to being disciplined, methodical, okay, and systematic, obviously. And when you are Mars can show any sort of profession which is connected to it could be the army, police, or any profession which is connected also to the 8th house. Even occult fields are connected to Mars. Technology is connected to Mars. So you have to find out in what way energy of Mars is being used in the birth chart. Say in a person's birth chart you get Mars Rahu combination or Mars Ketu, can you just make a prediction you can just tell them right away that that person will be violent? No. If Mars and Rahu are connected to their 10th house or 6th house and they are in a job which is connected to technology, which is connected to occult fields, mystical hidden knowledge, research, or any kind of field which is connected to any field which requires discipline, like the army, police force, or somebody can be a sports person, they can be a very good gym instructor, a bodybuilder, so player. So I mean, you have to see whether the energy of Mars has been channelized in a positive way in that person's life. If it has been channelized, you will not see such things. Violence and physical abuse tendencies, such tendencies will not be there. But otherwise you see that somebody is not into any of these fields, and Mars Rahu, especially they should be connected to the 1st house, 5th house or 9th house. These 3 houses, the Dharma Trine houses, they determine your nature, your personality, your character. The 1st house, 5th house, 9th house, the first lord, ascendant lord, 5th lord and 9th lord, they shape your character, your personality actually. So that means these 3 houses, if they are connected to Mars and Rahu, okay, Mars and Rahu, if they are placed not in good dignity, if Mars is under malefic influence in the 1st, 5th or 9th house, then definitely we can say that the person can have the tendency to become aggressive, they may lose their temper very easily, they may be very impulsive, aggressive, they may also turn violent. So these things we can predict then. So you should find out whether Mars is connected to these houses, the Dharma Trine houses, and look at the ascendant lord. If ascendant lord is in conjunction with Mars, with a malefic Mars, and the person has not absorbed the energy of Mars in their life in any positive way, then definitely, Mars, a malefic Mars conjunct with the ascendant Lord can make the person, indulge in physical abuse also. So that you should find out. Say if your ascendant Lord is Mercury and Mercury is in conjunction with Mars, then one thing it can show that you can be very, your speech, you can hurt people with your speech. When you get angry, whenever there is a quarrel, you will use your logic, you will use your reasoning ability. If Mercury is well posited, you will use logic and reasoning in a good way. But if Mercury is also afflicted with Mars, then you will quarrel and argue for the wrong reasons, and you will be very hurtful, your speech will be hurtful. So you will get engaged in a lot of what should I say, you can people may be engaged in calling names, in abusing others orally also during fights. So these things can happen. Now also look at the sun in your chart. Sun is actually the natural significator of the 1st house. Sun is a planet which shows your personality in a big way. So if Sun is in conjunction with Mars, okay, and Mars is also being aspected by Rahu or Ketu, and Rahu and Ketu, their dispositors are also not well posited in the house, in the chart, sorry. And the person is not connected to occult field or mystical knowledge, is not connected to technology or research. If any of these things are also not there, then it can definitely, if Sun is in conjunction with Mars and Rahu, Sun is in conjunction with Mars and Ketu, then also it can make a person very aggressive, and the person may also have this tendency to get violent. Now if Jupiter is aspecting Sun, Sun is in conjunction with Mars, Jupiter is aspecting, then these things will not happen, because Jupiter is the ultimate benefic in the chart. Then the person can be very knowledgeable, can be into research. So like that you should find out which planet is aspecting. If Jupiter's aspect is there on Mars, you don't have to worry. No matter how afflicted Mars is, if Jupiter is aspecting, the person will not have, such tendencies to get violent or physically abuse others. No. Also look at your moon, that is very important. Moon is your mind, your manas. Moon is your mental faculty. Moon is a planet which influences your life in a big way. Your mind is controlled entirely by Moon. How you think, everything first we conceive in the mind actually. What we think, we become. If we think we are like that, we become that also. So it's all in the mind. So Moon is very important. Moon is also connected to your astral body in astrology. Okay. So if Moon is also afflicted, say Mars's 8th aspect is falling on Moon, okay, and the person has nothing to do with occult knowledge, research, technology, or is not in the field of any field, profession which is connected to Mars, like the police, army, or any hidden knowledge, 8th house professions. Or if the person is not ambitious, not hardworking, is not creative, nothing of that sort, then Mars's 8th aspect on Moon, and maybe Rahu is also aspecting Mars, or either Ketu is aspecting Mars. But these energies of Rahu, Ketu and Mars, they have not been absorbed in any way. Rahu can also be connected to hidden knowledge, to technology. Similarly, Ketu is also connected to these fields. Research, in-depth study. Ketu is connected to religious practices, spiritual practices also. Rahu is connected to foreign lands. So Mars is having connection with Rahu, but none of these things are influencing the way the person is making efforts in life. Then what will happen? Rahu Ketu will then, if Mars is in conjunction with Rahu, always magnifies things. Then the person's anger, the person's irritability, these things will be magnified by Rahu. And then it can make the person, they may become very bold when Rahu is aspecting. Then the person may become very bold. They may not care about anything. They may not believe in any authority. They may not believe in any societal norms, regulations. Otherwise, Mars, a good Mars makes a person very disciplined. They are law abiders. They abide by laws, rules, regulations. So a person with a strong Mars connected to Saturn or 10th house can do very well in fields which are connected to discipline, which are connected to rule, regulation, to the law and order. In those professions, people do very well, that is why. But now Rahu is aspecting, Rahu's dispositor also not well posited in the house, and the energy of Mars Rahu not being used also by the native in any positive way, then the person's level of anger may be heightened by Rahu. Their courage may become now boldness. They may turn bold. They may make wrong decisions in life. They may impulsively act in a wrong way, which will become problematic for them. They may indulge in physical abuse. They may indulge in violence. So all these things can happen. Now, so moon also should not be afflicted by a malefic Mars, which is aspected by Rahu, a malefic Rahu. Even Ketu, if it is aspecting Mars and Mars Ketu, this combination is also, if it is not in a good dignity in the chart, a person can turn violent. If it is influencing your moon, then definitely yes, it will impact the person's mind. So at some point of time in life, they will turn violent. So maybe during the dasha of moon or Mars or Ketu, they can turn very violent, aggressive. So these things can happen. Do you have any such combinations in your 7th house? Then your partner will have such tendencies to get violent, to abuse people physically. So if malefic Mars, Rahu, Ketu, malefic Mars and Rahu or malefic Mars and Ketu are connected to the 7th house or 7th lord, then it will also definitely influence the partner's character, personality in a negative way, and your partner may turn violent and aggressive, and they may indulge in physical abuse. So be very careful. So if these planets are connected to your 7th house or 7th lord, then find out if that person is using the energy of Mars and Ketu in some way in their life. Okay? Or Mars and Rahu, if it is there, then are they using their energy in some way? Are they connected to some foreign culture? Are they connected to technology? These things you have to see. Okay? So otherwise the person may indulge in physical abuse. Now, even Venus, if Venus is aspected by a malefic Mars and Ketu or a malefic Mars and Rahu, then even Venus is the significator of your wife, so or your female partner. So she may have anger issues, temperamental issues. She may lose her temper. She may get violent, aggressive. This can happen. Okay. So yeah, if Jupiter is aspected by a malefic Mars and Ketu, then say if Jupiter's aspect is also falling, then you don't have to worry. If Jupiter's 5th, 7th or 9th aspect is also falling on Mars and Rahu or on Mars and Ketu, then you don't have to worry. Okay? Jupiter has to aspect. That is important. Okay? Otherwise the native may also have such tendencies to get violent. Or even Jupiter is the significator of husband in Vedic astrology, or spouse may have in a female's chart, the husband's significator is Jupiter. So yeah, then these qualities might be there in the husband. In Bhrigunandinari astrology, Mars is the significator of the spouse or husband. Then if Mars is afflicted, say Mars is under the influence of some of a Rahu, Ketu or malefic Saturn, then the husband also may have a tendency to get violent, abusive. These things can happen. Look at all these combinations, whether malefic Mars and Ketu, they have malefic Mars and Ketu or malefic Mars and Rahu, whether they have connection with your first house or ascendant lord, fifth house or fifth lord, ninth house or ninth lord, then your nature, if it has connection with the moon or sun in your chart, then you may turn violent and aggressive if you're not using the energy of Mars, Rahu or Ketu in a positive way in your life. Okay? Or if a malefic Mars and Rahu or a malefic Mars and Ketu, they have connection with your 7th house or 7th lord, then your partner may turn violent and aggressive, and they may turn abusive. So these things can happen. They may indulge in physical abuse. Your partner may indulge in even domestic violence. Now, how to know whether there is a combination of domestic violence? Now, if the 4th house and 6th house, they are connected, then you may be, you may see a lot of domestic violence in your life, or you may be even a victim of domestic violence. If somehow the 4th lord is in the 6th house or 6th lord in the 4th house, okay, or if the 4th house and 6th house, they are under the influence of malefic, Mars, Rahu, Ketu, Saturn. So these planets, they're influencing 4th house, 6th house, and 4th house and 6th house, they have some connection. Then also that person, that native, may experience domestic violence. Okay, so all these combinations, friends, you find out, because 6th house is the house of quarrels, which can lead to violence. 4th house is the house of your home, your domestic peace, your house. That is why. Now, what will you do if you have such problematic conjunctions or combinations of Mars and Rahu, Mars and Ketu? So these conjunctions are not problematic if you're using the energy, I repeat, of Mars and Ketu in a positive way. Because planets will exhibit their energy. Energy can only be transformed along a positive direction. Okay? We can neither create nor destroy energy. This is also there in science. So we can only transform energy. Now, Mars, Rahu, if it is connected to your 1st, 5th, 9th house, to your sun, moon, ascendant lord, and you are very ambitious in life, you are connected to technology or occult field of knowledge, or you are working in a foreign land as an army officer, you're in the police, or you're in the field of law and order, you're an advocate. Mars can also be connected to the legal profession, and you're working somewhere in a foreign land, or you're dealing with foreign people, solving their legal issues. You are into research, you're into technology, you're into mystical hidden knowledge, astrological knowledge. So somehow energy is being absorbed. Mars Ketu is also research, even occult fields. Rahu is also technology. So what I mean to say is that if you're using, somehow that energy is getting absorbed in a positive way, then that native, even if at times they may get angry, but they will not turn violent and abusive. That will not happen. Even if they get angry, they will control their anger, because now they're, that energy of Mars and Rahu or Mars and Ketu is being channelized along a positive direction. Okay, so it's all a game of energy. You have to understand. You need to divert that energy along a positive direction. So do some exercise, be active. If Mars, Rahu or Mars, Ketu, they are aspecting or influencing your 1st, 5th and 9th houses, your sun or moon or ascendant lord, then get physically active. If it is influencing your 7th house or 7th lord, then tell your partner also that they should do some exercise, they should try to remain physically fit, they may even go to the gym, or they should do exercise on their own. They should remain active, even ambitious. They should, be engaged in in-depth study, research, They should use technology in a positive way, in a constructive way. So all these things will enable them to derive positive results from the position of Mars and Rahu, or Mars and Ketu. Okay, so friends, in today's video I just wanted to discuss what combinations can turn a person violent, abusive, even if Saturn has connection with Mars and malefic Rahu, or a malefic Mars and Ketu. If Saturn has connection, because Saturn is the planet which also will largely show how you are going to act. Saturn is not just your profession, but also connected to your karmas, your actions. So Saturn also should not be under the influence of a malefic Mars and Rahu, or malefic Mars and Ketu. So if that also is the case, then also a person can turn violent and aggressive. So these are the various combinations, friends. Find out what combinations are there in your chart or in your person's chart. So if you are experiencing any sort of problem, if you are a victim of even physical abuse, or if you at times lose your temper and end up getting aggressive or violent, then do the remedies, okay, of Mars. Read the Hanuman Chalisa, Lord Hanuman's Chalisa. Read it every day. That is very important. And try to do some meditation. If you have a problematic combination between conjunction between Mars and Rahu, if the conjunction is giving you malefic results, then do some meditation. Mars and Ketu also, if it is giving malefic results to a native, then they should do meditation. They should do the remedies of Mars and Ketu. And they should, the best thing is to do some meditation, okay, to remain active, to remain hardworking. It's very important, okay. So friends, that was my take on what combinations in your birth chart can make you physically abusive, can make you lose your anger and turn violent. So all these combinations, if any of these combinations is there in a person's chart, they can turn violent, and they may indulge in physical abuse. So find out what combinations you have in your birth chart, and if it is giving you malefic results, you need to do remedies, okay, very important. If you need personal consultation, details, number is there in the video description, friends. Do subscribe, like and share. See you next time. Take care, friends. Thank you so much.